For this do now, you have to answer the questions, what's the circumference of a circle with a radius of 4 inches, and what's the area of a circle with a radius of 4 inches? Pause your do now so you can do your do now. Now. So in order to solve these problems, first we need to remember the formulas for these. So circumference is either 2 times pi times the radius, or you can also change that 2r to the diameter and pi times the diameter. The area is always pi times the radius squared. So we get the radius in both of these, so I'm going to use this formula that uses the radius. So in this case, the circumference is 2 times pi times 4, which is 8 pi, or if we round it off to the nearest tenth, it would be approximately 25.1 inches. And that's from a calculator. So for the area, I'm going to do area equals pi times the radius of 4 squared, which equals exactly 16 pi. Round that off in the calculator, you get 50.3 square inches. Now the point of this was just to remember the difference between the circumference and area formula, because today we're going to calculate sector area, which uses this area formula. What we were doing previously was arc length, which used the circumference formula. So that's one thing to keep in mind about how this is going to be different from the last lesson. So again, as mentioned, today is sector area, which is very, very similar to arc length, except the difference is we're going to be using the area formula rather than the circumference formula. Okay, so to find the sector area, we have to think about this as a sector area is going to be part of the area of the circle. So just like we did yesterday, the area, or the last lesson, the area of the circle is going to be pi times the radius squared. And now we have to figure out what part do we care about? And that's going to be the same exact situation that we did with arc length. You're going to take your angle measure and you're going to divide it by 360, the total circle. And then, of course, of just means multiply, so what you have here is angle over 360 times pi times the radius squared. So if we look back at this example here, the radius is 8, and the angle we care about is the same as this arc measure here. This 24 is the same as the central angle right there, so that's also 24 degrees. So what we're going to do now is just plug everything in to the formula and then figure out what the sector area is. So the angle's 24 over 360 times pi times 8 squared for the radius. So the sector area, when you round that off to the nearest tenth, would be 13.4 square units. So after completing a few problems about sector area, the question for you is, what are the differences in calculating arc length and sector area?